Good evening and welcome to the July 24th meeting of the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. I'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. With me this evening is our Secretary, Chris Meter, our members, Rhonda Schwartz and Adam Young, also Town Manager, Grant Kleinhens, and in the audience with us this evening is our Executive Assistant, Mr. Eder Lopez. I have confirmed that we have a quorum and proper notice of the meeting was given. Did we receive any comments prior to the meeting?
No.
Great. Seeing no one in our audience, we'll move on to the next item, consent of regular session meeting minutes from June 26th. Those were previously distributed. Any further comments or edits? Nope. All right. We'll go ahead and approve those by consent. Next on the agenda is approval of claims and expenses. Those were also previously distributed. Any questions on those or any that you'd like to highlight, Grant?
Sure. The total claims are in the amount of $2,269,530.83. That's on the back. And that's a big number. That's much larger than we normally have. But as you know, July is when half of the year's bond payments are due. So you'll notice all of those U.S. bank payments, they are our trustee on those bonds. So we make payment to them. We also, administratively, do several transfers that are noted here. So transfer from a depreciation fund into there's a whole process. So that's done by the clerk treasurer, but those are all listed here for your review. So that's a big chunk of that total payments. The other couple of larger ones, I'll go over these. There is a Marion County Treasurer fall property tax bill. This is for the Heaven Sent building, which we purchased several years ago. We had thought we got it off of the tax rolls, but unfortunately there was some error or snafu. We're still working through that. So we didn't receive a tax bill because it went to the property, we believe. So we had to make payment on that. That's in the amount of $31.71 We have requested the waiver of some of the late fees because we did not get that notice because the building is vacant. And now we've been assured by Barbara Lawrence that we have applied for the exemption, so it shouldn't be a problem again. Rundle Ernstberger, you'll notice there's a $2,000 expense there. That is for their work on the Speedway entrance gateway sign as they review plans, do shop drawings, and other types of things. As you'll notice at the bottom, Veritas for the Speedway Gateway project of $2,490. They are acting as our owner's rep there, coordinating different meetings. So those are the large expenditures. There's other expenditures, repair and maintenance supplies and payroll fund and different things, but those are the big ones, the highlights.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Grant? All right, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the claims as submitted.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the claims and expenses, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0. Next is our director's report. Hand it back to you, Grant.
Yep, I'm sitting in as the director. So a couple of things. I have provided you guys with a summary job posting for the vacant economic development director position. Would love to see your input maybe by the end of the week so that we can get that process started. I also will be sending it to the council. I wanted to give it to you guys first, just so that we're all on the same page. So that hopefully will be posted next week. The other thing that I am working on, we did a, what do we call those, update video last week. So that will be on YouTube probably this week on the SCTV channel, talking about all the progress on the 1300 block plaza, which is moving forward, the gateway entrance sign project, Founders Square, some of the businesses around town like Borage. All of those have made significant progress over the past 6 weeks or so. So lots going on in town. It is budget time. I provided you guys with a draft budget. It's on the agenda tonight. Have a couple of recommendations that I'll discuss when that part comes up. Budget is an important thing because you guys need to tell staff what you believe your priorities are so that we can start working on those. We have lots going on. Don't get me wrong. We're not sitting around twiddling our thumbs, but we do have a lot going on. The other thing I wanted to mention is we have published and sent out notice for that request for proposals for the former American Insight located there. It has a Crawfordsville Road address, but it's really off of Woolco, north of the DMV and east of the Coles. We sent that out to, I believe it was 14 different developers, interested parties. We have since had confirmation from most of them that they've received it and they're looking at it. We also got another unsolicited one today from Holiday Property Group. So hopefully we have some good interest in that. That is due on August the 23rd, so about a month from now. We have a deadline for questions to be answered. It's like the second week of August. And then once we get those proposals submitted, we'll give a quick review. We'll present them to the SRC at the August 28th meeting, and then we can go through the process of reviewing them and seeing what makes the most sense. I think all of us want to see a good use there that will add taxable value to the property, but I think we're open to anything that might make sense. We have money in the property. Obviously, we paid money many years ago. We tore it down, cleaned it up. We've been maintaining it for the past multiple years. So it's not free by any means. We would like to recoup some of the cost, or a good majority of the cost, but I think there is some leeway for us to negotiate with someone if it makes sense for us. There's also about $150,000 worth of sewer line that has to be put in. I don't believe the town should be doing that. So if the SRC would agree to pay for that, or the developer pay for that, I think that's something we would consider in those negotiations as well. So those are kind of the things that I've been working on. Lots of things moving forward, and other things that still need to be dealt with. I have a letter from our attorney going to the 1300 block developer, Rebar, about our concerns with the liquor store there. We are working on that. We're not ignoring that. It's just we need to make sure we do it the correct way. My guess is that letter will be sent out next week. I have a couple of comments back to the attorney who worked on it, and then we'll send that out and see where we go from there. So that's my quick report. I'll answer any questions that you guys have about any of those projects or others that I didn't mention.
Has there been any incidents at the liquor store that you're aware of?
No difficulties, really. I think the main concern is what was presented to us and what ultimately is there.
Yeah, I just wondered if there have been any incidents.
No, we have not had any, no emergency situations or anything like that.
Okay.
I don't have any questions, Grant. Great job. Letting us know what's going on. Seems like a lot. I appreciate it.
Yep. Trying to stay busy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's easy here in Speedway.
Next item on our agenda is new business, and the first one is approval of event space license agreement with IMS for the upcoming hauler parade. Can you give us a little bit more details on that?
Yes. So you have before you an agreement that has been reviewed by IMS. They came back with one minor change, and I'll point that out. It is on page 3 under 11B. This is the force majeure paragraph. Force majeure is act of God, storm, earthquake, etc. All they're saying is, yeah, they're going to pay the $2,000 fee, but if something cancels it, they would like their money back, and I think that's very reasonable. So the agreement is for the, what is colloquially referred to as the Barbecue and Bourbon parking lot, 1426 North Main Street. That's where they would like to hold their event. The event would be held on Thursday, August 10th from 2 p.m. to Thursday, August 10th that night at 7:30 p.m. They would close it off as of 2 p.m. and start moving things in. There is a description of what the layout is as an exhibit on the back, Schedule 1. So you can kind of see stage up front, there's a beer garden, and then there's a fan engagement zone. Their staff at IMS are in charge of making sure people who attend get interactions with the racers that are in town, et cetera. should be a very cool event. The rental is $2,000 for the rental of that lot that evening. They're required to have a certificate of insurance, et cetera. Those are kind of the high points. So any questions you might have, I'll answer them, but this has been reviewed by our attorneys, Bob Clutter and IMS, and they had that one minor change, which I thought was reasonable.
I'm excited the event's coming back. I think it's been since 2019, so that'd be great.
It always seems to grow a little bit
Yes.
every year, which is
Yeah.
exciting
Yeah.
to see, so, great.
And it's
Well,
only 2 weeks away, so,
Yeah, we'll get it approved for them.
yeah.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve of the event space license agreement with IMS.
I'll second.
Great, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the event space license agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0.
We will make sure you get that signed, and we'll get it off to them for their signature and go from there.
Great. All right, back to the operating fund budget discussion.
Yes, So before you tonight, Eder and I worked, I think it was last week, to work to put this draft budget together based on previous budgets. And once again, this is our operating fund, so this is not our TIF district. These are funds that the operating fund gets through things like leasing that parking lot. That's a revenue source that goes into that. We also get, for instance, the lease fees for the Heaven Sent building. That will go into this fund, $1,000 per month. When we sell property, typically those funds go into this, and that fund over the years has been built up. So that is the source of money used to do the day-to-day operations, paying the salary of the director, paying for the lease of the copier and the office space, et cetera, utilities, and then some minor administrative items as well. So we've put in various items, once again, based on previous years, for salary, for professional services that might be completed, office supplies, furniture, fixtures, and equipment that might need to be bought. I don't think we have anything in mind, but you just never know what might be needed. New file cabinet, new desk because it's not working well, new computer. Legal services, we do have $80,000 budgeted for that. A lot of those legal fees were anticipated for the Wilshaw, but now a lot of those legal fees for the Wilshaw are being paid out of the TIF district. So we might not necessarily need that increase, but once again, this is a budget. You put money in, if you don't spend it, it just goes back to the bottom line. Financial, we do work with London Witty Group to do our monthly cash flows, our annual reporting requirements, so those are their fees. Other professional services, including engineering, surveys, appraisals, environmental consulting, et cetera. We have $72,000 in there. That's a lot, I think, but once again, it doesn't hurt to have it in case something needs to be done. Those also can be paid out of the TIF district if the SRC would want that to happen. Service fees for the gate arms, there you have $1,100. It's about $83 per month, I think. Some marketing and advertising for materials and changes to website hosting is $2,000. Strategic plan implementation, that's been one that's been in the budget for a long time. I don't know if that's been a SRC priority, that's just never been done, but I carried that over. We can remove that as well. Property and board insurance, that comes through the town has a blanket coverage, and each department pays a certain amount based on what they have. So that is $5,000 per year. You've got utilities. That typically is utilities for the different parking lots and something like the Heaven Sent building when it's occupied. Even when it's not occupied, we have the electricity on because you need to keep heating, cooling it over the year. Under the repairs and maintenance, the professional services, we've got property maintenance costs in case snow plowing for different lots that we have, landscaping upgrades or replacements. As you know, we've added the 16th Street parking lot. It's doing pretty well. various maintenance and upgrades. We do have, the SRC has an agreement with the town to pay a portion of the lease for the large format printer that's located here at SMC. That's $2,200 per year. And then under the bottom of that page, the third page, you've got conferences, training, educational opportunities, dues and memberships for a total of $8,500. We did take out a couple of those. ULI and Indy Partnership, we did remove those from that budget. So you'll notice it went from $10,000 to $3,000, which I think is a very reasonable amount. Under the capital improvements, we have $100,000 in there for purchases of whatever it might be, real estate, equipment. That can also be removed. It's just kind of a placeholder. Office rent, that is an agreement between us and the SRC for the one small office that you have here at the SMC. We hope you don't consider moving away. I think that's a good arrangement. And then we do not have any improvements in construction, machinery and equipment, or other capital outlays. So overall, the proposed budget here is $548,000, which is about 49% less than it was last year. We cut out some of those items or plan to move them back to the TIF, for instance. I think that the newness in the director last year caused some of this to be maybe a little different than in the past. So, but this is a draft budget. We're providing it to you for your review and input and comment. So we would like to get that comment, maybe not necessarily tonight, but over the next couple of weeks so that we can better finalize this and maybe get you to approve it at your August meeting, and then get that into the overall town budget that we present to the council for their approval. I'll go ahead and head on to the second page that I gave you, this small printout. And I think I sent this, did I send this to everybody or just Jennifer? I can't remember.
I think the list was there, but maybe not the numbers.
Okay, so these are guesstimates too. I do not have actual cost estimates for some of these projects, but these are 6 things that I feel are important that we need to work on over the next couple of years. I know that when Todd was here, we did discuss some of these, and we just never were able to get some of them done. I think a parking study for Main Street is a very necessary thing that we need to look at. Not only for what number of spots we have, but what is the potential for future development and growth? Therefore, what is the need of that growth and the new spaces, and where do we identify what opportunities do we have? I think a consultant can help us put that plan together, look at it in a different way. It's very easy for us to become blind to what the I always feel like, oh, there's plenty of parking here. Because every time I go down, I can just park behind Wilshaw and I don't have a problem. But I know during events, it's very crowded. With the hotel going up and other things that have been done, I think a parking study would be very important. There are several firms. MKSK does them. There are others that do them. I think we could do a quick RFP and get some responses back. And frankly, $45,000 might be near the high end of that. Engineering and design for a new parking lot on the Triangle lot between the Speedway gas station and the Wilshaw. The SRC owns that property. My understanding from Tim was that always was planned to be a parking lot of some kind. I feel like if the hotel does make it through and gets constructed, that's probably a very necessary improvement. So $45,000, I've talked to Veritas. I think they could do it for $45,000. We could put an RFP out as well. Construction of that lot potentially could be $400,000. Doing a design and getting it constructed all in the same year is probably very, very difficult. So maybe design would be next year, construction potentially in 2025. Man, I don't want to think about 2025. Gateway signage, we're doing the gateway signage out at High School Road, but we have talked about secondary entrances, High School Road, 10th Street, even 16th Street. As you come in under the viaduct, there was discussion about, hey, we need to do something over there. So maybe we could look at doing something, identify 4 or 5 spots, work to get those accomplished. So I threw that one in there. Replacing bricks on Main Street with the stamped concrete is something Tim started 2 years ago. Then we did the 1300 block. I think it would be really great if the SRC would assist and continue that process. There are some dangerous areas. Some of those bricks have just broken out, pieces have broken out, and they're creating trip hazards and twisting ankle hazards. So I put 200,000 in that. That may or may not be enough. Safety improvements around the roundabout. I know that's been discussed with the Wilshaw Hotel as well as in general. That's another item I feel like it'd be nice to get some help from Indianapolis, but also I think the SRC, because the town doesn't own that roundabout. It's a very weird situation. We don't own the roundabout. So we'll put money in if we can get partners, but.
We own what's in the middle of it.
Yeah, but we don't own the road itself. It's just a very weird situation. So all told, those 6 projects total about 1.3 million. Once again, these are estimates. I've talked to a couple of people, but these are kind of best guesses. I would love to know if you feel like these are priorities, and if we wanted to tackle 1 or 2 of these next year, and then we could put kind of priorities on the others and maybe do them in 25 and 26. But I think then we have a workable plan that we can start making some progress on.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'll take any questions or comments that you might have. Once again, not looking for approval of any of this tonight. Just want some feedback over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think the budget is a great start, and definitely working in the right direction. Because our operating fund is not consistently refilled, I try and do as much as we can with the TIF dollars that we earn and put that back into the area. So I think these projects are all great candidates, and we'll continue to review them.
Okay. All right.
Any other comments?
I don't at this time.
Great, well, thank you so much, Grant. Next item on the agenda is old business, which is there is none. And then any other community update events other than our hauler parade in a few weeks coming up?
CDC sent letters out to property owners on 16th Street asking if they would like to participate in the new tree planting program. So hoping to get some responses, I think within the next week and a half or so. So
Great.
we'll see if there's an interest and keep that moving forward. So.
All right. Great. Well, that will adjourn our meeting tonight at 6:22.